Hi, and good afternoon. My name is Ali Fuji, and I'm just going to close this poll because it's in my way. Welcome to a haunting tour of the Minnesota Stroke Portal. I hope it's really not that haunting, but I want it to be so good it's so spooky. This presentation is, oh good, someone knows how to use the reactions already. This presentation is really geared towards those who exclusively enter and utilize the registry, but there are still some things in here mixed in, so our Get with the Guidelines friends can see how this upgrade may impact them or may not, just so we're clear. And did I put enough Halloween clip art on, on the slide? All right, before we get started, we always like to cover a few tips on how to navigate Teams. And I know you're all super savvy by now. I forgot to mention though, this is recorded, so I just want to put a note there. Today's webinar is live and recorded, and your lines and videos have been muted upon entry. You can interact with us still though, so don't worry. You can use different Teams features like the smiley face, that react button, and it has different emoji options. And I'm really hoping you utilize that to let me know what you think about the things I'll be sharing today. Um, I want to say that I've been collecting feedback on the stroke portal since 2018. So to be able to finally have some of the features available, I hope all of you who have been on this journey with me will just have all of the emojis with me. Feel free to ask questions along the way. Jamie, Michelle, and Nikki are all looking at the chat too, so they can help troubleshoot if something comes up. And then if anything doesn't get addressed during the webinar, we'll just send you an email and follow up. If you need live caption options, the on and off is under the select more language and speech turn on and off live captions. So here's our agenda and learning objectives today. So we'll go over some quick stroke program updates, do an overview of the Minnesota Stroke Portal upgrade, and then have the spooky fun tour of the new features. My goal for today and what you take away from today's presentation is upon completion of this webinar, learners should be able to understand the changes made in the Minnesota Stroke Portal or MSP and how it may or may not impact your hospital. Identify new case features such as the data dictionary tooltips, option to delete a case, sticky footers, and option to choose the same day as arrival. Those are just some things we'll be going over. And lastly, utilize the new reporting features available in the Minnesota Stroke Portal to view and share your data, such as the dashboard, demographic filters, benchmarking, and non-compliant cases. So, stroke program updates. Today is World Stroke Day. Thank you all for building awareness around stroke prevention, identification, treatment, and post-stroke needs. Hope you all are celebrating today. Coming up on Thursday, next Thursday, is the 2025 Minnesota Statewide Stroke Conference, and we'll all be there. So we hope to see you there, and we have some exciting new swag. So check out our table. We're really hoping you all like it. Lastly, the 5th round of MDH's acute stroke ready designation will kick off in the new year. Yes, designation 5.0. That webinar will be in December, hosted by the lovely Michelle and Nikki, and it'll have all the things you need to know. But please do not start your application if it's due in April 2026. I know some of you are very on top of it and love to just start entering things slowly, which we do love, but we need to update that application for 5.0, so don't start anything yet. But you can review criteria and collect documents offline in the meantime. So you can still work towards it without actually starting a application in the portal. As always, if you have questions, please contact the lovely Michelle Gray-Ansari, and her email is there. I think you can just click on it if you just need to contact her. I'm doing a PowerPoint live, so you can just click on the links right from your screen. The last of the stroke program updates include the 2025 Stroke Quality Improvement Award recipients. So it gives me great pleasure to announce that there were 11 recipients this year, and we'll still have the annual showcase in January. But since I did the webinar for October, I'm just going to say it here too because we always take any chance we can get to recognize hospitals. The first category is the Continuous Impact Award, which goes to Winona Health and Essentia Health Virginia. The Operational Excellence Award goes to Sanford Wheaton Medical Center, Essentia Health St. Mary's Detroit Lakes, and M Health Fairview Ridges. Outstanding Achievement Award goes to Mayo Clinic Mankato and Rochester, Hennepin Health, and CentraCare Monticello. And lastly, our Community Champion Award just really took off this year. We have Sanford Bemidji Medical Center, Grand Itasca Clinic and Hospital, and lastly, Essentia Health. So please join me in congratulating these hospitals. And again, we'll take a moment to going to the stroke conference on Thursday. They'll have a chance to stand up during Nikki's State of State. Okay, moving on to the overview of the Minnesota Stroke Portal upgrade. So just to give you, I know you've all heard of you've heard us talk about this for a little bit now, but I want to give you some context as to how this happened and what we did behind the scenes. So here's a brief timeline of the last the process. So in 2023, we applied for the Minnesota Technology Modernization Fund for the Stroke Portal, and that was very lucky that those state funds became available to apply for because we were told at that point that our system that had just been upgraded in 2019 was already outdated. And I was like, what do you mean? We just upgraded it. I did that. But it was still really difficult to maintain and to update. And with all of the different security challenges that have happened over the years, all of the funds that we could go went towards security and not actually like changing the application how we wanted it, using the feedback that you all have given us over the years. So we took the chance and spent a lot of time applying for it. Nikki did a big presentation in front of some big heads to get us the money, and they got it. They gave it to us in 2024, and then we completed it in 2025. The stipulation is that you have to do this within a year, so it's a real turn and burn project. But I'm excited to show you everything that we've been able to do within just a year, and there's still some things that we have left to do, but we'll go through that next. Before we hop into the tour, I just want to take time to note that this, like I said, this presentation is mostly how it impacts the Minnesota Stroke Portal users, but I want to be sure we spoke to everyone who submits data into the Minnesota Stroke Registry in whatever fashion that is. So a quick note for our Get With The Guidelines users. I want to let you know there's no changes that you should feel on your end. MDH will still load your data as normal. Your operations and processes do not need to change. If we ever have an issue accessing your data through Get With The Guidelines, we'll let you know if you're not showing up in one of our downloads. And while you use Get With The Guidelines for your direct data entry and reporting, you are still more than welcome to use any tools available in the Minnesota Stroke Portal. So especially if there's any new features you might be interested to learn about, you can definitely log in and play around. You all should have logins to the Minnesota Stroke Portal, regardless of what tool you use for primary data entry. And while the focus for the Minnesota Stroke Portal modernization project was the actual portal itself, we did put aside some money so we could have a special opportunity that was available only for our Get With The Guidelines stroke users, and that's the ePCR integration available in Get With The Guidelines. And what that does, many of you might know, but in case those who don't, it sends the EMS record from Hospital Hub. A hospital can log into their Hospital Hub account and send an EMS record over to Get With The Guidelines to then upload in a case. If you have any questions about this process, just reach out to us and we can link you with the right person depending on where your question is. We're really hoping that this streamlines data entry and reduces error and also provides more information without more burden, the data entry burden. Something to note is that we, as the MDH stroke program, do not have access to Hospital Hub. So we can't give you an account, we can't see what you're seeing, and we don't have the ability to use this feature and get with the guidelines. So we are limited in how and what we can answer, but we will promise to always connect you to the right person. And this is a completely optional benefit for you to participate in. We do strongly encourage you just try it and see how you can incorporate into your workflow. If you are having great success with it, please let us know what your workflow is. That seems to be really helpful because I think other hospitals might be curious in hearing how you've integrated it into your workflow. I think it's a really powerful tool if you can find a way to fit it in without it being burdensome. Okay, on to the haunted Minnesota Stroke Tour. So, Minnesota Stroke Portal users, it's your time. Now we get to talk about all the things we enjoy in the new system. And the first stop is our actual login page. Starting off hot with the login page, does anyone else remember having to scroll down just to click the login button? Those days are over. We can now hit the login button without having to scroll. Yay! I asked this to be changed because it was just so maddening, and I hope this simple change can make a positive impact just logging into the portal itself. Next, when you log in, you'll see the dashboard. So um, this is a new feature available, and it's to provide a quick snapshot of your hospital's key performance reports all in one place. So you can just see how you're doing all at once without having to run each report, save it, and then view it. So we hope you like this one. We worked really hard on it. You know, and nothing's perfect. I'm not saying this is the best, but if you can just really see quickly how you're doing in a bunch of different things and dig in like, oh, why are we so low on a certain performance? And you can run that report and really dive into that. The other thing I want you to know is that there's filters so you can just see your stroke code activations or all cases or just no stroke code activations. And then after setting up your report customizations, how you want it, you do have the ability to print. So send it to, just hit print and either send it to a physical printer wherever you are, or you can save it electronically as a PDF. So if someone's asking like, how's it going? Set the time periods, put your filters in, and print it. It will have all the criteria you selected, so that person who picks up that report should see exactly the time period, stroke cases, stroke codes, not stroke codes, all of it. And a case count will also be included in that, so they can see like, okay, we have like a really low percent here, but there was only like one case that fell out depending on your stroke volume. So those are just some things we hope you like about the dashboard. Next, we'll go into the registry because the updates in the registry section were really heavily focused on the user experience, easing entry, making it look nice and simple and clean, and including tools to help. So the first option that we added is you can delete a case. No more emails to health.stroke or me. You just delete a case all on your own. You can do it. But with great power comes great responsibility. So don't forget that this action cannot be undone. So we won't be able to help you after it's done. You're just going to have to start a new case. So be very sure. It will ask you to confirm that you want to delete it. So it makes you think. There is a little pause there, but you can now delete your own case. I hope people really like that one. I know that's been one that people have requested a long time. Next is the date and time entry. So before you just manually enter a date, but our developer added the option to click on this calendar feature, and you can then select a date through the calendar. And today, if you happen to be entering right at the same day, but you can still enter manually. It's just another option, another tool to help people just have another way of entering a date because we ask you to enter so many dates. So here's something that might help. In case you haven't used it yet, just click on the calendar icon. Did someone ask for dictionary access without having to click the resources, then data dictionary PDF, then search for the element that you're looking for? Oh my goodness, the wait is over. Now, next to all the elements, you can click that little eye icon and it'll take you instantly to the data dictionary guidance. No need to go through that long workflow that was the best I could come up with in 2018. That still remained the workflow. Now you can look at it right then and there, close it when you're done. But again, it keeps you all on the same page. There's no navigating away or new tab. You look right there, you have the information that you need. You still can go through the resources in Data Dictionary and just have it open if that's what you want. But this way, just as you enter, if you have questions, it's right there. So I hope you like this. I was really excited about it. Another registry date time entry fun thing. Are you tired of entering the same date over and over again when it's just the same as arrival? Hopefully, this helps reduce the burden or chance of accidentally entering the wrong date. So once you've established the arrival date and that is entered, every single time you open up that calendar button again, you can click same as arrival. Now I know this won't apply to all cases, but I'm seeing some really strong emotions here. I'm here for it. So I know it won't apply to all cases, and not everything happens on the same day of arrival, but I'm hoping it makes just a little bit of a difference as you're entering data because we're seriously searching for any scrap of time you can save, and this was one we asked for. It's like, is there any way you can help? Because there's so many dates we asked them to enter. So let me know how this goes if you end up liking it or whatever. But I think so far it seems like most people like it, and I hope that continues. A subtle change that some of you may or may not have noticed is something called a sticky footer. Doesn't sound appealing, but it is. Once the developer explained it to me, what's a sticky footer? I'm glad you asked because I didn't know this name until the developer said, um, what are you looking for, Allie? And I said, I'm looking for something so abstractors don't have to scroll all the way down to save or save and continue or close a case. Because sometimes they're just fixing an error or going back and changing something, and then they have to scroll all the way to the bottom to hit save and save continue. Now we have a sticky footer where it follows you. So it's just always living at the bottom, no matter where you are in the form, it's just there. So you don't have to scroll all the way to the bottom. And I'm talking about that inpatient form. Oof, that is the longest scroll ever. So I hope that this saves some time just having it there, close it wherever you're spot checking or just fixing something, you can just close it. No more scrolling. Again, we're really trying to find any scrap of time savings we can get with this one. We've shown this a number of times already, but now we have the race and ethnicity expanded options completely available. And this is what it looks like if you were to choose every single one of them. And just for some context behind this, this was something that came out of a QI project that our Stroke Advisory Learning Collaborative did around dysphagia screening and asking for more granular level details for race and ethnicity. So now we have these options available in the registry. And if you're a Get with the Guidelines user saying, well, we want this, but we don't use the portal, have no fear. AHA were very gracious partners and created a Minnesota Department of Health layer that is available for you to use within Get With The Guidelines. If you don't see that layer, it should be active for all Get With The Guidelines Minnesota hospitals. If it's not, let us know. But you will be able to still, it will transfer over to the portal and these two are consistent. So no worries. We'll be able to record everything, but just to say that this is all optional. So we have these, they're not meant to add burden to your data entry, but they're there if there's a population of interest that you see a lot in your community, you can do it. And this is important for, sorry, I have a scratchy throat. This is important because you can also pull reports based on the granular levels too, which I'll show in just a second. Known medical history. Okay, I'm talking too much. No, I'm sorry. Known medical history. We went over this before with pregnancy and postpartum. For Get With the Guidelines users, this is already in and live in the IRP. And so now the portal is just consistent with it. So no changes to guidance. The data dictionary is updated. But this way, because I know a lot of people are paying attention to hypertension in pregnancy and postpartum and stroke. And so this is to give a little bit more information when you are seeing those pregnant or postpartum folks. If it becomes a theme, you can look at, you can run reports on that. So the reports section is where we spent a lot of time, and we hope that these improved tools will aid you in your projects, help you track progress, maximize the data you enter, especially sharing out test results, and identify areas of improvement. So we'll start with the basics and the general display features you have in real time. Maybe you've noticed something that's not listed, just to note on displays, is that the reports used to be really noisy. It would have all hospitals automatically show up, even if you didn't select, like you even wanted to see all hospitals. We didn't like that either. So now it just shows your hospital and what you select, the facilities you select, and not all that junk. So now we have chart types available in bar graph and line graph, and the ability to set benchmarks in both. We'll go over into benchmarking in just a second. You can view median time or average time. Yes, I said it, median time. That has been a request for many years now. So now you can see your median or average time performance. You can filter by demographic categories or stroke code activations. And now goal times are included in each report description and appear in the graph for all applicable reports. And I'll show you a visual of that in just a second. So benchmarking. You can now apply benchmarks to reports. And if you're wondering what's the use, what's benchmarking? So the benchmark is created using data from the registry aggregated from the registry by either designation status or state. For us, we don't have stroke hospital. We're not able to benchmark by hospital beds or stroke volume at the moment, but these are the benchmarks that we have available right now. And why is this important? So it can be a great tool to compare your performance against those of a certain stroke designation or designations, because you can collect more than one. And just in Minnesota hospitals in general, you can click it. It can answer certain questions that your stroke leadership team might have. Like, how is your hospital performing against other acute stroke ready hospitals or all hospitals in Minnesota? But please note that 2 acute stroke ready options are available. So we have the MDH acute stroke ready hospital one, which most of you are using, and then the certified acute stroke ready hospital. So you're going to want to use the MDH acute stroke ready one, because the certified acute stroke ready hospital, I don't believe anyone is using that right now, so you won't get any benchmark data from that one. And for Get with the Guidelines users, something to note here is that if you want to compare yourself against all hospitals, not just ones using Get with the Guidelines, because if you're using Get with the Guidelines to run report and using benchmarks there, it only has um, data from other Get with the Guidelines hospitals. But in the registry, we have it for all Minnesota hospitals. So if you're just wanting to see for a picture of the state, just go ahead and log in and take a peek. So we have new reports available in the performance improvement section. The one to note or two to note are the door to needle in 45 minutes, all patients. It's a way to track your progress towards that stretch goal that we have of going to door to needle, from door to needle to from door to needle in 60 to door to needle within 45. So now you have a way of kind of measuring your progress towards that goal without having to run your own reports outside of the portal. And we also have telestroke initiation to telestroke connection time. And then back are these reports that were temporarily removed but are now available again. And they're door to stroke team activation in 15 minutes or less. Note these may have negative values because if you get a pre-notification and you've activated the stroke before the patient arrives, you're going to get a negative value. And that's not a bad thing. I'm just telling you, some people are like, this doesn't make any sense. It will be negative because you're just really on top of it. And then door to stroke initiated was also added back into. The big thing that I think you all will be really excited about is the case level detail in the reports available for performance improvement reports and STK and core measures. So you are now able to see those cases that fell out, that didn't make a measure or were a miss. You just, at the top of the report that you run, so this is a performance improvement report, door to needle 60, you can see pass fail, average time, median time, non-compliant cases. When you click on non-compliant cases, you will see all the cases that did not make that measure, that were not in compliance with that measure. And then you can click on it and it'll take you to that case. So you can investigate and look further or do chart review, whatever you want to do. Because I know this has been something you've asked for forever, and I'm sorry it took so long, but this is a long time coming, and they found a really great solution for you to find those cases. Maybe it was a data entry error, whatnot, but now you have a way of identifying the case that did miss. No, sometimes people are like, how do I get back? So if you want to navigate away from the non-compliant cases, just click pass fail or average time or something, and it'll bring you back to that normal screen. It just gets confusing because the non-compliant cases opens up a table just like the stroke registry. So we're like, why? How do I go back? Just click to pass fail, average time or median time, and you'll go back there. For STK, you'll just see pass fail or non-compliant cases at the top. So here's just an example of the performance improvement report and what you'll see. So here I have applied, there's a goal time. So here's a line to represent the goal time. It's already in there for you at 25 minutes. And then here's your selected hospitals in the dark blue, and in the light blue is the benchmark. So it's like, oh, we're doing pretty good. Compared to, we're not too far from how other hospitals are doing with our, I don't know, designation or in Minnesota. And we do have some work to get closer to the goal time. It looks like we have some more work to do more recently because it looks a little further from the goal line. So it's just a nice way where you can see clearly where you are in relationship to the goal. Also have benchmarks. You can also not have benchmarks. So there's a key at the top that shows you what your hospital is, benchmark, and also the goal time, so you know what that red line is. And not much has changed with the STK core measures as much as the performance improvement, because there's no new STK core measures. But I just wanted to show you an example of what it looks like when you run it. So you have the title at the top. You also have a description of what report you've run, the time period, the hospitals you selected, and what you're looking at, pass, fail, or non-compliant cases. Um, this is a test. This is a demo account that I'm using, so I don't have any like selected hospital data, and I didn't want to use anyone's data, so this is just pretend there's selected hospital data in there. But you'll be able to see how you compare and others in your SDK performance measures. And then you have the non-compliant cases, which opens up the same type of table that you'll get in the performance improvement one. So the reports print feature. I want to wrap up reports by highlighting the print feature because I feel like it might be underutilized, but maybe I'm wrong. So knowing the print feature, it's important for wanting to share what you need. So say you're preparing for like a stroke leadership team meeting, a site visit, your designation application, quality improvement meeting, or just the team stroke team that you're working with to show progress towards a goal, quality improvement. You can print the report, and it gives you the option to print again a physical copy if you have a printer that you're sending it to, or save as a PDF. And I just want to highlight this because there's always ways that we want to make sure you're sharing your results, and we want to give you as many tools to show the progress and the work that you're doing towards a goal. So we hope that all the different display features and like ways to share this will help make it easy for you to show off the work and really maximize the data that you're entering in there. So what's included on the printed graph? Because you might be like, this report isn't helpful. It's just a bar graph, and I don't know what I'm looking at. So on each one, the printed graph will include the actual data visualization. So if you chose a line graph, a bar chart, and it'll have a corresponding table count so you understand those percentages and appreciate them a little bit more. Again, if you have like an N of 1 and you miss it and it's like 0% met, that's pretty extreme. But when you see the case count, you're like, okay, one patient missed this. It puts into context. It'll tell you the report type, so the title of the report, whether it's performance improvement or STK, the time period specified, the selected facilities. So either it's one or you can select multiple facilities to look at. It'll show the selected benchmarks you applied so they know what that other chart, that other bar is, what you're comparing to, and any of the selected filters that you applied. So the demographic categories, whatever, because we still have all those demographic filters available that for race and ethnicity that are also have the expanded options in there, insurance status, age, and sex. It'll show everything you have, so they'll know exactly what they're looking at to get an appreciation for what you pulled. Now, big reminder, if you change anything, if you click like, the reporting period or the filter, you do need to hit run report again. You need to hit run report again or else it doesn't automatically change. So just make sure you do that before you print and save it. What's to come? Yes, there's more. So something that's coming down is in the future, we'll have an optional tab to collect social needs assessments. So some of our Get With the Guidelines friends are already doing this within the IRP, and it'll mirror and match what's in the available and Get With the Guidelines, and also may include some Minnesota specific questions too. And it'll be an optional tab for those that would like to connect those two elements that they're not able to do in their EHR, look at their stroke cases that have different social needs a theme or something like that. Eventually, we'll have that coming down. Smoking history. This is a random one. Smoking history will move to previously known medical history. Right now, it's only on the inpatient care tab, which doesn't make any sense, but we're finally changing it back. So for the portal users, be sure to add smoke history there because it hasn't been there in the past. And then the designation application for 5.0 is coming next year. Again, please wait until told to start an application, but we hope that you all like the new application that will be coming out once 5.0 is released, and you'll give us some feedback on that one. So the big thing on what's to come that we've worked, Nikki and I worked on for the majority of the year, it's almost ready, and it's the most exciting thing. So in our search to streamline data, we looked at all options. Nothing was out of the question. And we said, oh, I wonder if we could somehow make the portal interoperable with EHRs. Is there some way we could streamline just a little bit more data? So we got as creative as we could, and we went with all of the people. And we found out that there is an existing link that your hospitals have to something called the National Syndromic Surveillance Program that collects a bunch of different data that hospitals already send to MDH. So it's not something that you'll have to ask your leadership for or whatever. These are already data agreements in place that they're handing over this data to MDH, and it stays in this thing called a data lake. And the portal will have a way of connecting to it. And so our IT team met with the data folks here at MDH to see how that could happen. And so what it will look like, so this is to the best of our knowledge, but it will help you identify cases based on the patient's ICD-10 code, if it's one of the stroke ones. So it won't catch everything. We're trying the best that we can with existing tools. So it won't catch everything. You'll still have to have your own reports and all of that, but it will catch those ones that are very clear. And what it'll do is preload any data that we could match to the Minnesota Stroke Registry. And what that comes down to is about 15 to 20 fields. Most of it's demographics, so it just saves some time entering like insurance or sex, age, stuff like that. And so what it'll do is preload that, and you can either complete it. It'll be in this kind of temporary case, and you can either make it a real case and open it up or delete it. If it somehow was not coded correctly or it doesn't meet criteria or whatnot, you just delete it. And this will be an optional feature available in the portal in the coming months, I want to say, because it's pretty close. It won't solve all of your data entry. It won't take out a ton of it, but 15 to 20 fields will help hopefully eliminate some of it. And this is available to hospitals that are already participating in the National Syndromic Surveillance System and program. And so most of your hospitals are. Just so you know, it's only available to those if your hospital doesn't currently participate in that, you just won't see anything and nothing will change for you. The big thing is that it's hopefully less work for you. You'll still have to manually review the data entered to make sure it looks right, and we'll probably ask for more people to test it, but we're hoping this helps with identifying cases and data entry. We're piloting this and we hope it helps. We haven't seen anything like this before, so we're just doing our best. Hopefully you guys are excited about it. So I just want to wrap up so I have some time for questions, but I want to say a big thank you. So thank you to our testers who worked through the bumpy integration of our ePCR Get with the Guidelines stroke rollout and provided feedback. Um, you all were so patient in trying again and again to test it and make sure it actually worked because MDH had no way. Our hands were tied. We had no way of actually testing if it worked. And the hospitals helped us out tremendously. AHA, Image Trend, all helped us out to make it successful. So thank you for continuing to answer my pestering emails. Thank you to our portal testers who had to give me their IP addresses so many times to finally access the new system to test. Some people tried relentlessly and still couldn't get through due to technical difficulties, but thank you for trying. Thank you for spending the time to give us feedback. Um, we are nothing without your feedback and your help to make this successful. I am very serious about that. I call you all our North Stars for the stroke program because you guide us and we would be totally lost without you. Thank you to our partners at AHA for helping us with the integration and the special MDH race ethnicity layer and Get with the Guideline Stroke. So Jessica and Kim and Jason, thank you from AHA. Thank you to our Minnesota information technology team that worked with us on the project, especially our talented developer. He made things happen quickly and found really good solutions for our users. And then lastly, thank you to all for your commitment to quality improvements and determination to provide the best stroke care to all that come through your doors, no matter what. We wouldn't be here without you. Again, you're our North Star. So I have some time for questions. If you all would like, I want to make sure there is some time for live questions. Oh, I see some of them. Let me bring up the chat. Oh, compliance with NIH score anywhere. Okay. Um, we don't have that report available, but what I can do is make a note of reports that people think might be a good suggestion for us to include. Lynette, because I'm sure there are other people interested in the in that too, tracking that. I'll make a note of that. I see Emma. When you're entering a new case to the stroke registry, how do you set a facility as favorite? Oh, okay. Great question. So it's not a new feature of the portal, but if you go into your facility, um, when you go into the portal, you will see, now I have to log in, but you'll see under, at the top, you'll have the ability in like the admin or your user section for your facility, and you're able to add your facility favorites there because it has your facility address, your primary and secondary contacts, that's where you edit it, and your EMS favorites will also be in there too. I'm just looking at Megan's showcase that it already exists. Oh, okay. You know, Megan, if you send me that case ID, I can look into that too, because that shouldn't happen. If it was recent, if it had the same patient ID, there was a bug that we recently fixed that wouldn't allow a hospital to enter the same patient ID more than once. But some hospitals need the ability to do that. So we did put a patch in last week to fix that. I'm just going to move on because I see that it's 12:44. I can still answer questions, but I want to make sure you can click the link right there or use the QR code. You shouldn't need the access code, but it's there if you need it. But feel free to just click the link on the screen right now and fill it out if you have time for the evaluation. It does ask if you have used the portal. If you could just give us the tiniest little bit of feedback. We're just really curious and would love to see where things are trending and just how it's going so far for folks and what they like most, that would just be great. Instead of having to enter it. Oh, Megan, that's a good, or Morgan, that's a good idea. It it'll just have you select it each time because people have more than one facility. I can see if there's a way if it could, if you just have, it'll like go alphabetical order, but so then it'll just show up right there. But I'm afraid right now you'll have to just select it each time. Oh, it was locked in. Okay. See, these are these things I don't know change. Okay, I'm making a note of this. I'm saving the chat and I'm going to talk with our developer after this too. So thank you, Morgan. I will be sending the slides out, so no worries there. Please take the time to um, fill out the evaluation and let us know what you think. I see, Alyssa. What about being able to set a facility as a favorite like EMS? We should have the ability to set the EMS as your favorite facility. We kept that feature. Um, so I think we can talk offline, Alyssa, too, about, oh, tomorrow. Oh, okay. I was trying to problem solve. Sorry. Thank you all for your time today, though. If you have more questions, feel free to email me. You know where to find me. I really hope you enjoy the new system. And for those who've been with me since 2018 and sending me feedback, thank you, thank you, thank you.